just carry on. In terms of as I said, if I had seen the letter before it went out, a statement like that, worded in that way, would never have left the building. Those two officers have given me I asked them to account for their actions, and this is what they gave me to read, and I'll say what I think about that at the end. They said
Why aren't they here?
Yeah.
Yes. Why aren't they here? Tell us themselves.
I'm sure if you can certainly invite them up to Durham, but I thought my job ultimately is to speak on behalf of NUS and to come up and to be held to account as NUS. And what I want to say, well, I'll read what they have to say first. They say, we deeply regret the misunderstanding caused by the wording of our statement, and they can assure you that we would never advocate violence against your students. The protest that was to take place, organised by NUS and other organisations, would have been a peaceful one. We can assure you that we never intended to cause any offence or insinuate that the protest would have been harmful to students. Rather, it's having the BMP on your campus that is a danger to the students we represent. So that's what they have to say. The way that NUS works, just as DSU, is that you have kind of different strands, the liberation campaigns, the equality campaigns. In NUS we have them for women, black students, disabled students, and LGBT students, lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans students, to de-jargonify. They are autonomous sections of NUS. They are elected by students who define into those categories. They elect their officers, they elect their committees. They're free to say whatever they like. I think on this occasion it was an appalling error and ultimately a self-defeating statement on their part. I think if you want to couch the arguments about the BMP and about no platform policy, there are much better and more effective ways to do it than to leave students feeling like they're being threatened. There have been, over the course of a number of years now, protests I've seen or been on or heard of, there have been clashes between fascist people and anti-fascist campaigners, and I do believe there is a threat to violence, but we should never condone it, we should never take part in it, and anti-fascists themselves should never be caught red-handed, no pun intended. No, I'm just saying they shouldn't, you can play on my words if you want to, but I think I made it pretty clear that you shouldn't be engaging. You shouldn't be engaging in violence. Full stop. That's the first thing. In the case of these two NUS officers, I think based on the statement they've made and the conversations I've had with them, I think they genuinely realise that they've made a huge. When it comes to how you handle your relationship with your members of the membership organisation, I think this is a classic textbook example of a huge monumental cock-up. And hold on, all right, calm down. I've been patronised. I'm just asking for an opportunity to finish, but I don't think it's actually unreasonable. Anyway, that's what I think about. I think it was utterly ridiculous. On behalf of the National Union of Students, we did not condone that statement, we did not see it before it went out, and I want to apologise on behalf of NUS and say sorry to anyone who received that statement, was affronted by that statement, offended by that statement, who believed that statement was inappropriate. I believe it was inappropriate and unacceptable. A statement like that will not be leaving NUS again, and that's all I've come to say really, is to say sorry in particular for that, to explain the context for no platform and what I think we ought to be doing about it, and to listen to your concerns. Ultimately, I will take criticism on the chin, and I don't know, in addition to that, I'm not sure what else I can say, except the two things I regret most out of this whole thing is that up and down the country on ultra-right websites, forums, networks, the publicity, the backlash, the fallout, the fact that the people under fire in this debate are NUS and anti-fascist organisations, not the far right, gives them great cause for celebration. And for me, that's one of the most self-defeating things that's come out of NUS, the statement you received from NUS officers, and one of the reasons why I'm most sorry that they issued that statement in the first place, because I think it has fundamentally undermined the cause against the BMP, and for that I am most sorry. The second thing is that there are a whole number of things that NUS does and campaigns on. I think it is great to see so many people here today to talk about NUS. I'm just, again, very sorry it's in this context where you are massively, monumentally pissed off with us. When, at the moment, we are in the run-up We are in the run-up to a general election, which will be close and crucial to deciding the future of the higher education system. We are seeing cuts taking place up and down the country, and your Vice-Chancellor at the forefront, of course, of variable fees and marketisation. We just launched, just last week, a massive Vote for Students campaign, mobilising the student vote, which has got politicians from a load of political parties absolutely bricking it as to their electoral fortunes, and it's those sorts of things that NUS should be here mobilising this number of people about. And again, I'd just like to say I'm really sorry that this has happened, and I'm sorry that the reason you're here is to essentially condemn the actions of some NUS officers instead of talking about what we can do together on common causes we all care about.
Time limit, so I apologise in advance because obviously a lot of people here feel very strongly and you probably won't get all your questions answered, but if that is the case and you have a pressing one, if you do email me, I'll be able to pass them on to Wes and hopefully you'll be able to get a response that way. So I guess we should just start. Patrick, do you want to set off?
Wes, do you disagree that the best way to educate the population on the BNB and their policies was to hold exactly the kind of debate that was going to happen here, that was put under pressure by NUS? And secondly, what exactly were the welfare issues that this particular debate caused? They get quoted all the time as some sort of soundbite there's bandied around, but what are the facts? What was the risk? And can you demonstrate that for us?
Yeah, firstly, thanks a lot for coming down. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate all the good things that NUS actually does for students. But you know, your two representatives, your two colleagues from the Black and Gay and Lesbian Societies or whatever, they created a huge blunder, and they brought the whole debate into disrepute. They've taken the focus away from the BNP and shunned it back onto the NUS. And you've come here, and I appreciate the fact you've apologised on their behalf. But surely there's more you can do. Surely, for example, how are you going to ensure nothing like this happens again? What measures are you going to take to discipline those two students that cause such anger and a real sense of that they're trying to threaten our university and our way of going about academic and intellectual debate?
That's brilliant. And then we've got more.
Two quick things. First of all, the Durham Union Society is not a member of the Durham Students' Union, and it's not a member of the NUS. What gave you the right to interfere with us anyway? We gave you a platform for freedom of speech last term. We think you owed us that to others. And secondly, when you cancel this sort of debate, the people in Stoke-on-Trent who vote for these individuals are the people who feel disaffected from society. You let the BNP go home and say, look, we're the only ones that listen to you. They wouldn't even let us speak, particularly since they were already democratically elected. You have given them a victory when we wish to see them in defeat.
But that's going to take up time, and also obviously staying calm.